Are you saying TikTok or going out or cleaning my house, these things have to change the way that I feel? That in itself is self-rejecting. Do you not feel the resistance that you have within yourself when you are trying to look for ways to make yourself feel better, but it's from a place of, I need to change. This needs to be outside of me. I need to not feel negative emotion. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia Gogan. If you're new, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe because it's a good time over here. Don't forget, I have a podcast, the Glow Up Secrets podcast. Talk about healing, self-love. We do a lot of Q&A questions over there. We talk about everything. And also don't forget to follow me on Instagram because you get to see what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis on my stories. And also I ask you guys a lot about what I should be talking about in my videos or on my podcast episodes. And one more thing, if you are looking for specific advice, then please click the link in my description where you can submit your email and I can actually give you tailored advice instead of sending me a DM. It is way too hard for me to get to all of them. Okay, what if your mess is your magic? So lately I have been helping one of my friends go through a tough time in her life, and I've gone through plenty of tough times. You guys are constantly asking for advice. I am that friend that gives the advice when life feels a little bit chaotic. And I've been finding a very common theme when I am giving you guys or my friends or what I've been through. I have found a common theme of not being okay with not being okay. Not being okay with the fact that life is chaotic right now. We struggle as humans to sit with negative emotions. We struggle with being with ourselves. We are people in society right now that are heavily into self-improvement. We run away from our problems. We suppress our problems. We find value in ourselves based off of how much work that we do. And when we don't do that, or when something in our lives happens that creates some distress, that creates emotions within us that we might have been running away from or that we didn't know how to deal with, or it just creates a pause in our minds of our momentum that we had in our lives, we look at it as wrong, as bad, as something unwanted that we should not be feeling, and we try and run away from it. We tell ourselves that this is not something that we should be feeling, and how do I change, and how do I just be better again? Now, of course, it's another natural response as being a human to want to feel better. You don't want to feel sad. You don't want to feel alone. You don't want to feel depressed. You don't want to feel like you have no direction in your life. But the truth is that you're a human being and you're going to go through all ranges of emotions. You are going to go through times where things aren't on the up and up the way that you want them to be. You go through breakups, you go through changes, you go through leaving certain jobs, you go through contemplating what you should even be doing in life. And I think what makes all of these negative circumstances worse is our perception of these circumstances. Why are we not okay with the fact that we are not the richest yet? Why are we not okay with the fact that our bodies are not picture perfect yet? Why are we not okay with the fact that we are not healed yet? And I think this really comes down to us not understanding what self-acceptance really is. In society, I feel like a lot of us we're scared to accept our reality because we are scared that this is going to be our reality if we accept this. If I accept the fact that I'm sad today, if I accept that this is my current reality, then I will stay here. I won't be able to get out. And it's understandable because when you're in that moment of accepting that you have a negative emotion, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to be sad. It doesn't feel good to sit with your emotions. But the problem with that is the fact that you are still running away from these negative emotions. You have negative emotions within you. Something happens in your life, it creates a distress within your nervous system. And what we really should be doing is learning how to transform and process and be with ourselves when negative emotions arise in us. And when that happens, we end up transforming our energies so that we become better. And we're not really taught that process. We don't really understand that that can be a thing because we just think about the negative emotion. We think about the negative thing and we're scared of that. And we're scared of that for a lot of reasons. We're scared of that because in childhood, when we felt this negative emotion for the first time, we didn't know how to handle it. There was nobody around us to help us process and understand that we are going to be okay even when something happens, like when a little trauma happens, because traumas happen over time. Trauma is really something that happens to us that is unresolved. So it can be when you get weaned off of your mother, when you are being breastfed by her, that is technically a trauma. But when you have a mother who is still going to support you and still going to feed you in other ways, we learn how to heal very quickly. We learn how to transform. And unfortunately, there's bigger traumas than that happen to us, and there are not people around us, there are not tools, there are not people that can help us and support us in this feeling of uncertainty, this negative emotion. And if we were to have that, what ends up happening is, yes, we might feel a negative emotion, but we're able to get back up. We are able to see the light. We are able to pull the insights and the wisdom that happens and comes from being in rock bottom sometimes. And this has been my experience. I've gone through a lot of hard times in my life, and I am somebody that actually does see the beauty in chaos. And I want to say here that it's really hard for you to see beauty and to learn and to realize that, yes, this is a learning lesson when you're going through tough times. So I'm not about to sit here and try and convince you that, oh, the breakup that you're going through it's going to be amazing. Like, it's going to be like, this is really what you need. And like, you're going to learn so much about yourself and you're going to grow and you're going to heal. It's really hard for people to resonate with that when they're going through it. But it's actually interesting. I've listened to this guy, his name is Andrew Huberman, and he's a neuroscientist, and he has a podcast if you're really into neuroscience and psychology and how the brain works. It's very scientific, but he's really smart. And I know Jordan Peterson has also talked about this as well, how we have certain neurotransmitters, and we have a chemical which is dopamine, which makes us feel really, really good. So we get a dopamine kick when we see someone inspiring us. We get that dopamine kick when we post a photo and people are validating us. And what they have found in their research, or what Andrew has found in his research, was that we actually produce and create, or I should say, a lot of dopamine within the body when we know we are on pursuit to something. So instead of actually releasing dopamine when we achieve something, our bodies actually release a lot of that when we perceive ourselves to be on the right direction. So when we are actually working towards something. And you'll hear this all the time. People who achieve certain things, they'll achieve like $1 million, or they'll get the job, or you'll get the relationship, or you'll get something that you've really wanted, and then you just you drop back down into this low, and you're like, I should feel happy, I should feel fulfilled because I hit this certain goal. But mainly that's just because of your perception. We think that achieving the thing is going to make us happy, but what actually can make us feel really happy is the pursuit of getting this thing. And this is what I think people are talking about when they say like there's beauty in chaos. What they're talking about really is that dopamine release that you get when you're on pursuit of something. And it takes a lot of mindset work to get there though. And I think what's helped me the most is to drop into a very deep level of self-acceptance. So accepting myself, but also accepting certain circumstances in my life. And I honestly think this mindset, this state of self-acceptance, of accepting your reality, of accepting all that is, I think once you actually can get into that mindset and start to perceive things as it being okay for like where you're at right now, I think that's where you actually start to release some dopamine. At least it's been like that for me. When I can actually just be okay with the fact that sometimes my life is chaotic and I don't have everything that I am perceiving that I really want right now, or that I'm going through a tough time, I actually get a level of excitement. And I'm not going to sit here and try and make you feel excited about that, but I think over the years, after going through so much in my life and having to not be such a chronic self-improver and just be okay with my current reality, I actually started to feel very inspired and motivated, and I actually felt really good. And this is also not to say that when you're in this state, you're not going to be working towards things, because working towards things does make you feel really good. Sorry, I had to move my camera because the lighting is changing every 3 seconds. But yeah, like I was saying, if you're looking at your life as bad or wrong or a mess when you feel negative emotions, when you're going through something tough, although what you're feeling is valid, it makes life a lot more difficult. And this is really you coming out of a place of believing that everything should be perfect right now. This is you coming out of a place where you're running from the feelings that you felt when you were a child and you didn't know how to handle. So you suppressed, you coped, you did whatever you could do to survive, and you went through life trying to avoid feeling hurt again, feeling that negative emotion again. And society doesn't do a really good job at making you feel okay with the fact that you might have negative emotions come up. We are taught to suppress, especially men. They're taught to suppress their emotions and be a man. And we have so many things that we can do in life right now to cope. We have dieting, and we have drugs and alcohol and partying and dating apps and all of these things to suppress and cope, and it really just keeps you in a cycle. And something that I think is really important and has really helped me is to bring my attention to my body when I try to affirm these more self-accepting, these it's okay not to be okay affirmations to myself. Like, just imagine this. Imagine for a second if it was okay to not be okay. How would it feel if you just let yourself relax? How would it feel if you just told yourself it's okay not to be okay? How does it feel when you tell yourself, I'm gonna accept this negative emotion today? Instead of running away from it, instead of trying to suppress it, instead of trying to change it, instead of trying to go clean the house, to go on TikTok, to go out with my friends to try and change how I feel. What if I go clean my place? What if I go on TikTok? What if I go out with my friends, but not having the expectation that these things need to change the way that I feel? This is something that we do all the time and we get confused about. And what I was talking to my friend about too is like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Just sit with my negative emotion and not go work on my goals and not self-improve or not try and change? And it's not about that. It's check in with yourself. Are you saying TikTok or going out or cleaning my house, these things have to change the way that I feel? That in itself is self-rejecting. Do you not feel the resistance that you have within yourself when you are trying to look for ways to make yourself feel better, but it's from a place of, I need to change. This needs to be outside of me. I need to not feel negative emotion. And when you do that, you're sending signals to your inner child that it's wrong for feeling this way, that it shouldn't feel this way. But the truth is, you have a part of you that is feeling this way. It's reality. It's a normal human thing, and it's understandable that you don't feel like it's a normal thing because society has just made it so that it's wrong to feel bad or feel depressed or have a bad day or a down day or an unproductive day. But I think why I've learned how to really see beauty in chaos and be okay with not being okay is because once I actually sit and allow myself to just be sad today, let myself cry and not trying to change the fact that I am sad today, that's where that dopamine kicks in. That's where that dopamine actually comes out, and then what ends up happening is I feel better. And I feel like you hear this a lot. Cry, let it out, you will feel better. And a lot of us, what we either do is we let ourselves cry, but we let ourselves cry with the expectation that we have to feel better from that cry. What if you just let yourself cry, knowing that you might still feel sad after you cry? Why are we putting so much limitation and so much expectation on things. This is still not a state of self-acceptance, of being okay, of allowing ourselves to feel these emotions. And it's understandable because we're scared to feel these emotions. But from personal experience, I know sometimes when I need to let it out and cry, when I need to just feel sad and just, let myself drop into a negative emotion. But I do it because I know that I need to, because this emotion is within me. My inner child is feeling something. My wound is triggered, all of these things. But I'm not putting expectations on these things. And I used to put expectations on these things. I used to tell myself, okay, you can cry, but you need to be feeling better after you cry. Or, okay, you can go out with your friends to get your mind off of something, a negative situation that's happening in your life, but you better be feeling better from this thing. And then what happens when we don't feel better from this thing? We feel worse, and then we try and run away, and we get into these cycles. It's because we're running away from our wounds, we're running away from our negative emotions. We've been taught that it's bad to feel these things, and we don't have the tools to do so. But don't worry, I'm gonna give you some tools to help you be able to be okay with not being okay, and give yourself some more compassion and self-love, and just realizing like it is okay that your life is not perfect, that things in your life are not the way that you wanted it to be right now. There is, in my opinion, nothing worse than telling yourself that you are wrong and bad and that you should change when you are going through something very distressful in your life. There's a reason why you feel sad. There's a reason why you're in a rut. There's a reason why you are depressed. And I think the most transformative thing I have ever done in my life is, instead of running away from that and telling myself that I'm bad and I'm wrong and trying to cope, is to be there with myself and sit with myself and accept it, and then be able to pick up better tools to be able to help myself out of this depression, out of this distressing situation. Because like I've said, self-acceptance is, yes, on one hand, we are accepting our reality, ourselves. That doesn't mean that you don't need to change and that you shouldn't heal and bring yourself back up. So if you're spiraling, if your life is a mess, you're gonna need to really be there for yourself, for your inner child. Now, I'm just gonna put this out here to begin with. Therapy is going to be a very big help for somebody who doesn't know how to coach themselves daily through certain situations. I think therapy can definitely help. Talk therapy, somatic therapy, any type of therapy, please reach out to someone. BetterHelp is also a really good platform that you can go to online if you don't really have the time, or you just, for whatever reason, you don't want to go meet a therapist in person. Another thing that was really huge for me when I was going through a lot of hand pain and I wasn't accepting that this was my reality, and I just wanted to change it so heavily and just wanted to be out of pain and not depressed and not sad, I did a lot of guided meditations. I'm going to link the channel that is truly amazing. It's called The Mindful Movement, and these guided meditations help you, first of all, bring your attention from focusing on how you need to be out here and bring yourself back to your center, back to balance, back to peace, even when your life is chaotic. There's so many guided meditations that you can do at night or throughout the day. So when you start to feel anxious, or when you start to feel depressed about your life or the direction in which you're going, or just you're sad about something, these are really good ways to change some of your beliefs and your thought patterns, because your thoughts are really creating how you feel. And once you start to change the way how you feel in your body, your nervous system moves more into that rest and digest. And when your nervous system is regulated again, you are able to pick up little insights, or, connect with people a little bit more, even if you're in a depression, or feel a little bit of hope of life or anything. But when your nervous system is very fight or flight, your perception is very skewed. So I think guided meditations really, really help. I was doing them in the morning, in the middle of the day, and every night before I fell asleep. And there's a lot of affirmations as well in these guided meditations that will just really help you get at ease, because sometimes it's really hard. It's hard to pick up a new dialogue or know what to tell yourself to help yourself feel better and to self-soothe. Another thing that's really helped me is journaling, and I journal a lot of times when I'm feeling anxious, when I'm feeling irritated, when I'm feeling a little bit confused or lost or overwhelmed, I like to write out anything that I'm feeling. Like, what are you feeling today? Just get it out. Don't go into journaling as if that it needs to change you or needs to change the state of being. It's really just going in there and just letting out your emotions, write out whatever is residing within you. And again, a lot of the times we don't like to do journaling because we don't want to sit with negative emotions. We don't want to write out negative things. But I'm telling you, if you suppress your emotions aren't going anywhere. They're just actually going somatically into the body. And that's where a lot of a chronic illness actually can come from, which totally separate video. If you really are interested in how your mind and your body are connected and how literal trauma and your emotions are stored in the body, get the book, The Body Keeps the Score. I will have it linked in my Amazon shop down below. Another really good book that you can get to really understand how to create a new inner dialogue and just accept your reality or accept parts of you or just be okay with life. It's called No Bad Parts by Richard Schwartz. I talk about it all the time. It'll again be linked in my Amazon shop, but this really helps you, this really teaches you what is happening within you when you feel sad, when you feel down, when you are doing self-sabotaging behaviors, and how to really have a dialogue and how to have a conversation with certain parts of you so that you start to feel okay, that you start to feel like you're soothing yourself. And the last thing that I do, and I do this every day, honestly all the time, is that I talk to myself. When I am feeling sad, when I am feeling depressed, when I am feeling lost, when I am feeling any emotion, instead of letting my dictatorship, chronic self-improver voice that I've had in my head for a very, very long time tell myself that I shouldn't feel this way, just stop feeling this way, like, get over it, Alicia, just go do something else. This something else is gonna make you feel better. I've picked up a new voice. This voice for you could be like a motherly voice or a big sister or a higher self, whatever type of voice, but it's definitely going to be a different voice than the voice that you've had over the years. For me, my voice definitely came from my father. But this voice is going to remind yourself in times of distress that it's okay. It's okay that you're feeling sad right now. I know that you're scared that if you continue to feel sad right now, that nothing is gonna change and that your future and your goals, they're just slipping away because you're feeling this sad emotion right now and you can't get out of bed or you can't eat or you can't sleep right, but it's actually okay. Let's allow this right now. Let's allow this chapter of introspection. Let's just allow this time of healing. There's a part of you right now that is sad, that needs your attention instead of you running away. Be there with this part of yourself. Be there with your inner child. Be okay with the fact that your inner child is hurting and that it needs support. This voice inside of my head also tells me all the time that it's okay that I'm not okay right now. It is okay that I'm not perfect. It is okay that my face is not perfect, that my body's not perfect, that my hair is not perfect, that I don't have all the money in the world. I tell myself all the time that I'm working towards my goals every single day, even if I'm not actually doing it. Every day I'm always getting better. I'm always finding insights. I'm always finding wisdom. I am evolving. And if you think about the fact that like evolution and growing and growth in general, it's not linear. We have to start telling ourselves a new story. Life and goals and evolution and growth, it's not linear. So let's stop the story of how every single day I should be feeling amazing, better than I was yesterday. There's gonna be weeks, there's gonna be months, there's gonna be sometimes even years where life is just not the way you really wanted it to be. And if we could first just accept that, and then when we accept that, you will find that you will have more mental clarity, you will have more compassion with yourself, that you'll actually be able to get up and do some things that will help you get back up to where you're trying to be. And again, this self-compassion, this being okay with not being okay, that's actually where you start to change your neural pathways in your mind. You start to release a lot more dopamine, you release serotonin, you release a lot of these chemicals within you that actually give you the support that you need to be able to lift yourself back up. And this is where you're going to start to look at your circumstance and you're gonna start to learn from it. So when you're thinking about, oh, the fact that you went through a breakup and it's so hard, once you get more into the self-acceptance and this love for yourself, you can start to realize like, oh, okay, well, I did show up this way in a relationship. not really happy about that, but that's okay. I'm not gonna regret it. I'm not gonna get mad at myself. There's things that I can learn from this. There's things that I can now do differently. There's things that I need to educate myself on, and I don't need to be mad at myself for that. I'm allowed to grow. I'm allowed to change. And listen, I know it's hard. I know it is. I'm not here to try to convince you to believe that whatever you're going through right now is beautiful, is magic, is amazing. It's not about that. What this video is about is for you to understand that it's okay that you are not okay right now. It is okay that you feel negative emotions, that you have them. And it's a reminder and an awareness that there is something that is calling you to bring your attention inwards instead of running away from it, instead of letting your dictator identity tell you that it is wrong to feel this and to run away from it and to only do things so that they can change this internal feeling. And I know it sounds counterintuitive. Why would I want to let myself feel negative emotions? But you need to remember that if you feel negative emotions, they're there for a reason, and if you try and suppress them, they will reside within you. And you know that to be true because if it didn't, you wouldn't be getting into the same cycles, the same relationships, the same patterns, starting things and stopping things, self-sabotaging and knowing it. And I'm talking from personal experience. The best thing that I could ever do for my self-growth journey, for my glow-up journey, for everything in my life was to accept my reality, to give myself compassion and love, tell myself it's okay. And only then was I able to actually equip myself with the tools to be able to go up. And that is why I am the way that I am, because I've accepted that I am human, that it's okay to be sad. It's okay to have emotions. And you do that through going to therapy. You do that through talking to other people. You do that through letting people in and helping you heal. You do that through journaling. You do that through creating a new voice inside your head. You do that through guided meditations when you're really, really distressed in your life. Once you go through this process, you will realize your mess, your chaotic life, the thing that really brought you down was your magic. And I know that because it's been mine. And I'm here on the camera helping you guys because of that realization. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell notification so you can be notified when I post another video. And you will see on the screen right now a video from me called How to Get Out of the Victim Mentality and How to Be the Creator of Your Own Reality. These are super helpful tips to kind of change your mindset when it comes to negative circumstances that might be going on in your life. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!